Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our last cooking session for Vegan Festival 2021. We made it to the end, which is exciting, even though COVID's been looming large. Very happy to round this whole session up with Adam Guthrie, who will be streaming live on the screen. There he is. Hi, Adam.
Hi, how you doing?
And Rebecca Stoner, who will be here cooking up Adam's beautiful burrito bowl. Just a last thank you to our sponsors for this season. Our platinum sponsor is Adelaide SA and SA Tourism Commission. Our diamond sponsor is Ecolateral. And gold sponsors are Lord of the Fries and Totally Vegan by Charlie. I would ask you to go see them, but they're probably going to be closing up when this session is finished. But you can find them on Facebook and online. Now, Adam is an amazing story because Adam actually had a heart attack at the age of 39. I'm actually 39 next month. So very, very shocking and very close to home for me to think that I could be in the same position. When that happened to Adam, Adam decided to change his diet, not go the medical route, and change his diet into a plant-based diet. And that's what he found really made the difference in his life and making him healthy. So he has recipes on I Feel Good recipes. You can also find the recipe for today, which is a delicious burrito bowl that Adam will be making, and Rebecca will be making here for us to try and taste. You can find it on our e-cookbook through the event page of Adelaide Vegan Festival, which will also be on the website later on this month. But with that, I will leave you guys to it.
Thanks, Chantal. Hey everyone, how you doing? How's Adelaide? If you can hear me, please raise your hand and wave. Yay, awesome. We're gonna have a fun hour. So guys, I'm gonna share with you one of my favorite recipes to help me literally go from being obese and having a heart attack at age 39 to losing 35 kilos, getting into my healthy body weight and maintaining that now for years, being able to get off all medications and not have to take them for 10 years. It's been 11 to 12 years since I had the heart attack, and I was able to get off all medications within 6 months of eating the way that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to share with you my burrito bowl. It's a great transition recipe. Who here is vegan? By show of hands. Okay, quite a few of you. Who out of my vegans are whole food plant-based vegans? This is a difference, and I'm going to teach you what it is today. So to get started with this recipe, the first thing you want to do is get some rice on. And what is a whole food plant-based diet? A whole food plant-based diet is eating plants in the way nature hands them to you in their whole form. So that means like you eat brown rice instead of white rice. White rice has the brown husk taken off the outside. But if you love, do you love those, you know, the white fluffy rices like basmati rice and jasmine rice when you go to a Thai or Indian restaurant? By show of hands, who loves those fluffy ones? Right, well, basmati brown, you get in any supermarket these days. It goes light and fluffy, rightio, like the white ones. So let's get that on straight away. The way you want to make it, I'm going to bring you on a tour into my kitchen. How's that sound? Sound good? We're going to bring you over to my stove, and we're going to put the rice on, and we're going to cook it the absorption method. Please turn to the person next to you and tell them what method it is. It's called the absorption method. Okay, and the absorption method is 1 cup rice to 2 cups water. 1 cup rice to 2 cups water in that ratio. I'm going to bring you down here so you can see. I'm going to pop it in here. So 1 cup of rice, and then we're just going to get 2 cups of water. The other cool thing about eating brown basmati, it only takes about 15 minutes to cook compared to other brown rices, the heavier ones, which take half an hour. Just get this stove going. So how's your weekend been? Have you been there the whole weekend? Who's been there both days?
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. Been really cool. I've been checking in and watching it as well. So, got that. So what we do with that, I just put on the boil, bring it to the cover it with a lid, cover with a lid, bring it to a boil. And then when it boils, you're going to turn it down low. And you guys can see my bench. And then you're going to turn it down low and you're going to just let it simmer away until all the water gets absorbed. And I'll show you what to do with it after that. But the next thing you want to do is make the beans. So I'm going to make beans, an authentic Mexican refried bean, but without the oil, okay? And I'll explain why oil later. I'm going to make an amazing guacamole. It will blow your mind. It is so good. And one of the things when I transitioned to this way of eating, like I love dairy. I was vegetarian since 21. Okay, so from 21 to 39, I was vegetarian. No meat, only dairy, no eggs, just dairy and veggies and some processed veggie food. And as a result, turned me into an obese guy and having a heart attack. So one of the things I missed was dairy. I thought, how can I make, like, I love sour cream, especially as nachos or, you know, burritos and things like that. So I came up with cashew sour cream. So I'm going to show you how to make that today. Does that sound like a good day? If that sounds like a good afternoon, please wave. Okay, and you're going to get to eat it. You're going to get to eat it because Rebecca,
Yes.
she's making it there for you so that you can have it. Yeah, here's a little chef kit, guys. Make sure you've got 2 bowls. Why? Because have you ever cooked? Maybe not you, someone else in your house. But after they finish cooking, it's like a bomb has gone off in the kitchen. Stuff is anywhere. Who has a kitchen like that after they cook? Anyone? Anyway, I know what it's like. So this is a game changer for you, okay? Get 2 bowls. What you do, 1 bowl has the scraps going, keeps it nice and clean. That's what they teach at chef school. The first day you go, is how to keep your bench clean. By the way, I'm a professionally qualified chef. I have a certificate in plant-based nutrition. And I did my apprenticeship in one of the best restaurants in Australia in the 80s, which was quite a great place to learn. So the other bowl is this, water and a sponge. And that way you can just like get the other bowl and wipe everything into it. Is that a game changer? That's how chefs keep their benches clean. So we've got that going. Right, so this is how you cut an onion. Some of you going, Adam, I didn't rock up here to learn how to cut an onion. Well, some of you will cut it like this. Others will go, oh my God, that's going to save me so much time in the kitchen if I cut my onion like this. Never peel your onion whole unless you have to, okay? If you're going to do onion rings, you've got to cut it whole. But if you're not, if you're just dicing it, do this. Place it on the board, place that root end up, cut down, and then you just do this, and the onion comes straight off. Super quick, super easy to do. So let's pull that one off. And the way you chop so that you never cut your fingers, and by the way, when I was doing my apprenticeship, this finger here, okay, that finger doesn't have a fingerprint anymore because when I was chopping the potatoes, I cut it off right to the bone. And it was in the potatoes in the restaurant when I was doing my apprenticeship. Anyway, so I learned my lesson to hold a knife properly. The best way to hold it is here. Some people hold the knife like this on the handle. If you're doing that, don't do that. Okay, it's not right. Some people do this, put their, their finger on the blade. Don't do that either. Both those ways are very dangerous. You can slip and cut your finger on the blade. This one here, the knife can spin. This is the correct way to hold a chef knife. And you know it's a chef knife because it's got a heel on it like this. See? But if you've got a handle that is in line with the heel of the knife, that ain't a chef knife. That's a different sort of knife. But a chef knife, you put your thumb and your finger on the blade just in front of the handle. Why? Because that's the balance of the knife, plus it's the safest place to hold it. And then you get your other fingers, just wrap it around the blade, and then it becomes like this extension of your arm. Very, very solid. Try it at home. Hold it like that, and then hold it like that. You'll notice the difference instantly. Then what you got to do, so you don't chop these little fingers off, you got to put your fingers on the board and curve your fingers into like a C or a D shape. It's got to have a curve. Then with this little thumb, don't let it hang out anywhere. Stick it on the back of the fingers and it won't get chopped off. Then you get your knife. You whack it hard up against your knuckles. The tip always stays on the board. Where does it stay, guys? Always on the board.
On the board.
And then what you do, you go down, move it forward, pick it up, pull it back. Down, push it forward, pick it up, pull it back. So this is what it looks like from the side. Down, push it forward, pull it back. And it's this rolling action. And you're always, because your fingers are tucked under, your thumb's tucked away on top of the back of the fingers, and the blade's always touching the protruding knuckle, I can just cut everything up like this all day long, chatting to you, and I'll never cut these little fingers off. So step one in learning how to eat whole food plant-based, you want to learn how to use a knife properly, is you've got to chop more food. Okay, it's part of the deal. It just comes with it. So the way you chop your onion, you slice it through almost to the root, but not all the way to the root. Then you turn it around and face the root end away from you. Which way do you face it? Away. And then you slice down to the board, but you don't slice it to the root. And that way it all stays together. Then turn the root away from the knife and just slice across like that. And then the last bit, lay it flat, slice it, turn it, dice it. There you go. That's how you chop an onion. Does anyone chop it like that now? Let's show hands. Okay, the rest of you don't. You learned something today. Very good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay. So, go on. Yes, give yourself a round of applause. This is interactive. Even though I'm here in my home, I can still see you and feel you. Okay. Onions are done. The next thing you want to do is open a couple of tins of beans. Now I'm using these Mexi beans. Now, you know, Woolworths have a brand, Coles have a brand, Edgels has got a brand. It doesn't matter which one, but you want to get the Mexican beans. What are Mexican beans? There's three types: black beans, red kidney beans, and pinto beans. Those three beans make up the Mexican mix. You can make them yourself. Soak them overnight in a big pot or a bowl. Cover them with water, lots of water, little amount of beans. It'll absorb all the water, they'll expand. Cook them in a pot for about an hour, or put them in a pressure cooker for about 20 minutes and they're done. But if you're lazy like me, who doesn't like to spend much time in the kitchen, even though I'm a chef, I'd rather go out and play, especially now, you know, I recovered from a heart attack and I've got all this energy. I got so much energy, actually, I actually went and did an Ironman triathlon. I literally went from heart attack to Ironman. But hey, we got to strain these and I'll show you. So I'm going to bring you over to my sink and we can do this. So guys, come on another little journey with me. Over to my sink and then just strain them. Now you want to strain them because beans and grains and nuts and seeds have a coating on the outside of them that's a natural inhibitor that stops them from decaying fast. You notice how beans and grains and nuts and seeds have a good shelf life? It's because they have this inhibitor on the outside called lectins. And it's nice to get those lectins off. So I just rinse them under some water, just like this, until all the foam goes away. Once the foam's gone, they're good to go. I suppose you're wondering, how do I know, if I cook them myself, how do I know if they're ready? This is what you do. See the bean? Can you see that? if you can push it between your hand and it squashes, it's ready. Okay, that's how you know if you're cooking them yourself. So back over to the stove for a sec. Rice boiling away. You never stir it. Now that it's boiling, I'm just going to turn it down low. And that in about 15 minutes will be ready. Take it to there. There we go. So back over here, and I'm going to cut up the capsicum. You know, the beautiful thing about a whole food plant-based diet, when you learn how to do it properly, you can make meals in 15 minutes. Because who wants to spend a heap of time in the kitchen? Like a lot of people go, oh, I can't go whole food plant-based, it takes ages to cook. Well, it can, or it can be really simple. And I've developed all these 15-minute meals. If you go to my website or you go to my Instagram, or if you want to join my program, I've got over 600 recipes with meal plans and 15-minute meals, and we do these cooking classes every week. You can go and check it out. Plus, I've got a free course online. So if you go to my website, you can do my free course. I'll teach you all about plant-based nutrition and inspire you to want to eat this way. So with the capsicum, I'm just going to slice it lengthways, like this. You can dice it if you want. I just like long strips of capsicum. And then we're going to go cook. And this will be ready in no time. Refried beans. Now, notice how I've chopped everything up and I've opened the tins and I've done all that prior to going to the stove. Have you ever done this? You've been cooking at the stove and then you forget that an ingredient or a spice, and then you run back to the pantry. You look everywhere in the pantry and then you come back to your pot and it's burnt. Anyone ever done that? Show of hands. Yeah, I've done it heaps of times. This is a good little chef tip. It's called mise en place, which is a French term for put in place. Chop everything up, then go to the stove and just stir the pot. You put lots of love in it then, and the food tastes better. And you don't get stressed. So much better, huh? So I'm going to bring this over here. And you're going to come with me. And we're going to make this together. How's that sound? Right. So, I'm going to get a pot on here. We'll put it on high heat. Now, one of the principles of a whole food plant-based diet is no oil. Why? Well, it's not a whole food. You think about it, it's actually processed. It's separated from the olive, or separated from the avocado, or separated from whatever you're cooking, you know, the vegetable that they're using. And a whole food plant-based diet is whole food. So eat the olive instead of the olive oil. But you're thinking, Adam, why on earth would you want to not have oil? It's meant to be really good for you. Mediterranean guys eat it all the time. Mediterranean diet's good. Well, yeah, they do have a little bit of it. However, it's not the optimum. They've shown that oil, when it's separated, can damage the endothelium cells, the cells that line the inside walls of your arteries. Plus, they're super calorie dense. And the only reason why we put on weight, and I know I was obese, okay, is that we eat heaps of food, heaps of calories actually, heaps and heaps of calories, and we put on, then we burn. It's the only way it happens. But here's the beauty: when you learn how to do a whole food plant-based diet properly, you don't have to count calories, because they're super high in nutrients but very low in calories if you do it properly. So oil is one of those things that is very high in calories and hardly any nutrients. So you want to avoid it. So you're thinking, Adam, how on earth are you going to saute onions without oil? I'm going to show you. You see, here's the thing. Have you heard about cooking, sauteing with water? Anyone heard that by show of hands? Okay, don't do that. That's not how you want to do it. When I first learned how to eat whole food plant-based, everyone was teaching saute in water. So I did that. And guess what happens? Your onions just steam and they go white and they're yucky and awful. So I put my little chef hat on. I went, how can I get that caramelization, that brown caramel flavor that you get when you cook onions in oil? So I thought, what if I just put a pot on the stove, any pot, doesn't matter what it is. This one here is a cast iron and enamel. You could use stainless steel. You could use, you know, any pan, any barbecue, doesn't matter. I just whacked it on, heated it up, and then I just threw some onions in and started sauteing. Look what happens. I'll show you. So it's got to be hot first, and that's hot. Listen for the sizzle. See how it sizzles? Now you don't want it too hot. If you have it too hot, it'll just burn the bottom of your pan. Then you just whack it in and you start sauteing. You'll get a little bit of caramel on the base. That's okay. We're going to deglaze that pan. I'm going to turn this down now to medium. And I'm just going to saute. And you watch, this will start to caramelize without oil. You do use some water, but not now. You do it after it browns a bit. Then what you do, you add the water. I'll show you in a sec. Get it translucent, keep stirring it. And then to finish it, I could go longer to get a bit more colour, but for the sake of our little cooking demo, just keep stirring. And then I'm going to add just a splash of water, and it's going to take that caramel off the bottom, just like when you're making gravy, you know, in the old days before you gave it up. Some of it will come off, some won't. You have to scrub it off later. But have a look at that. I'm going to bring you down lower. Can you see in there? Now, that's not exactly like I cooked it in oil, but it's pretty damn close. If you want flavour, guys, don't saute in water. Saute it just like I did. So, there we go. We're good to go with that. Then we're going to throw in the capsicums. Give those a bit of a stir. Do I have a tablespoon somewhere? Where's my tablespoon? There it is. Okay, I'm going to add a couple of spices. Very Mexican. Coriander, 1 tablespoon. Cumin, 1 tablespoon. In it goes. Give that a stir. Now here's the thing. As soon as you get that aromatic, the smell from the spices, you have to get a liquid in there. Because if you burn the spices, it's going to make the food bitter and it won't taste good. So what you got to do? You've got to make sure you get a liquid. You could put water in, but what I'm doing is tinned tomatoes. So I've got the tinned tomatoes here. I'm just going to open this can and in it goes. That's my liquid. So as soon as you smell the spices, get a liquid in there, no matter what you're cooking. So that's it. Easy done. Where's my beans? In with the beans. All good. Now, give that a stir. And then we're going to make refried beans out of this. Now, here's a little tip. Whole food plant-based, when you're making big pots of things like this, double the recipe, triple the recipe, and then freeze it in smaller portions. Then you pull it out, you've always got really good food on hand. Good tip. I always double things like this, casseroles and curries and mixes. Then get yourself a little old potato masher, or if you've got a stick blender, you can use a stick blender. And then just do this. Mash it into a paste. So you know when you buy those refried beans at the shop in the cans? Well, they're full of oil. Not very nice. But we're doing the same thing here. We're just making refried beans. There we go. Give it a mash. Now, there's one other little ingredient that I add to this. You can do it 2 ways. You can add some salt to it, or you can add some of this vegan stock powder. It says beef, but it's vegan. It's the Marcel brand. So I'm just going to pop in this. It just boosts flavour. Makes it taste yum. In that goes. Give that a mix. There you go. We have refried beans. Just going to turn that off. Whack a lid on it until the rice is cooked. Now I'm going to take you over to make guacamole. So guys, you having fun? You enjoying this so far? Are you learning anything? Please turn to the person next to you and have a chat about what you've learned so far or found interesting so far. Do it. Well, I come back over to the bench. Am I straight? I hope that's straight. Right. Here we are. Good. All's good. Can you see me? I'm back. Yeah. Now we're going to make some authentic guacamole. Now I do cooking classes, cooking talks before lockdown happened all around the country. Anyway, I made this burrito bowl at one of them, and a Mexican lady came, and I said, "Oh, we're going to have Mexican burrito bowl." She goes, "That'll be interesting." I went, "Oh my God, the pressure's on." Anyway, she came to me afterwards and said, "Adam, that's exactly how we do it in Mexico at home. It's the real deal, and your guacamole is spot on." I went, "Thanks. You know, I'm a chef, so I hope I know what I'm doing." Anyway, so the reason why I share that with you, go home and make this guacamole. It will blow your mind. It is so good. So you want 2 avos. Just cut them in half. I like making my guacamole on a board. You can do it in a bowl if you want. One. We'll get a black bit there. Get rid of that. This one's a bit old, this avo. Don't buy them too soft. Make sure they're quite firm when you buy them, because they're always green inside. These ones here have just been about a day too old, but they'll do. Right. Make sure you always take that little seed, that part out that's hanging off the tree. Okay, we've got the avos. Just give it a bit of a mash like this. Done. Now, you want to use a red shallot. I've got half one here. Now, if you can't get red shallots, just use red onion, but a red shallot is the authentic deal. Once again, you slice it really fine, the same way you cut an onion. Into it. Who does onion and garlic in their guacamole? Show of hands. Who puts garlic in? Yeah? Okay. Don't do that. Right, because it isn't authentic, right? Traditionally, they don't put garlic in it. They put this red onion in there. Then you want to get yourself a tomato. And we'll use half a tomato here. Just dice it up. Super easy. Okay, tomatoes done. You want to get some lime juice. Squeeze about half a lime on there. All good. Then what we want is some coriander leaf. Now, some of you are going, "Adam, I can't eat this coriander stuff. It tastes like soap." Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that has that palate where they can't eat this stuff? Oh, good. Okay. What do? This is how you chop all herbs. Like, I see so many people chopping herbs, they end up with this big green blodge on the board after they take the herbs away. Don't over chop the herbs, okay? Because all the nutrients go into the board, all the flavour goes into the board. You want to keep all the nutrients in the herb so they go into your body. So what you do, you roll it up like a log, and then you just slice through it once, very finely, or very big chunks, up to you how you want it, straight into it. There you go, that's it. Every green herb that you use, not the woody ones, But all these leafy green herbs, that's how you want to do it. Other thing you need, a little bit of salt, give it a pinch. Now, if you love chili, buy yourself fresh jalapenos. Not the pickled ones, not these pickled ones, but the fresh ones. Dice them up fine and you throw it into here. If you don't like the chili, leave them out. But authentic way is to put in the chili. But I have a family that doesn't like heat, so I'll leave it out. And I put the chilies on the side and we can add our chili at the end, those that love it. Everyone's happy, okay? So give that a mash. You want it to be chunky. Have a look at this, guys. Can you see this? Let me come over. Look at that. Does that look good? Who wants to eat that? By show of hands. Guess what? You're going to, because Rebecca made it for you. It's so good. Okay, let me taste it. It'll blow your mind. It is so good. Okay, we've done that. Our beans are done. The rice is almost ready. Next, we're going to make cashew sour cream. So with the cashews, I'm just going to do half the recipe. But I think I've given you my full recipe, which makes a lot more. You can freeze the cashew sour cream in little tubs. But 1 cup of cashews, squeeze in half a lemon. You can put the seeds in if you want to. It's all going to get blended up, so it doesn't matter. Okay, that's the lemon. And then we want a pinch of salt. And then we want a cup of water. Okay, or it's a half a cup, I don't know. I think it's half a cup of water. Let's see how we go. You can add more if I've got it wrong. On with the lid. I'm using a NutriBullet. They actually puree it really, really well. But you can use any high-power blender like a Fruvi or a Vitamix, makes it really well. But the trick to it, you don't want to have a grainy cashew sour cream. It's got to be like the dairy sour cream. So you've got to blend it for a long time. I'm going to bring you over. Actually, I won't bring you over because the noise is pretty noisy. I'm just going to whack it on. Lock your ears. Let it be blended. It's got to go like 2. Like that. So, rice. I'm going to show you what perfectly cooked rice looks like. It's going to be ready in a sec. Yeah, we're pretty good. I'll show you that. Want to have a look? Yeah. Here we go. Wow. Cashew sour cream. Look at that. Who's had cashew sour cream before? Yummo. How good is it? Rightio, let's have a look at this rice. I reckon we're pretty right. See how it's all absorbed? What we want to do, we want to get a fork. And then we want to fluff it. Just like this. Put the lid on it. Leave it off the heat for 5 minutes. That's all done. That's good. Now we're going to plate up. But who's interested in wanting to learn what a whole food plant-based diet looks like, or on a typical day, or what it actually really is? By show of hands, anyone interested? Okay, cool. I'll give you that now while we plate up. How are we going for time, guys? Hey, we're crooked. How are we going for time? Okay, we haven't got a clock
Good.
here.
We are got 30 minutes left.
I've
cool.
finished plating up, so I might hand out some
Sweet.
tastings if that's all right with you, Adam.
If you played it up, let's hand it out, guys.
Yeah,
You want to try
right.
some? And then we can do some Q&As, mate. How's that sound? You up for
That's
that?
good.
Right, where else do you get access to a chef who does a certificate in plant-based nutrition, who reversed heart disease and went and did an Ironman triathlon that you can ask questions to every day?
Oh.
So any question you've got about whole food plant-based lifestyle, diet, cooking, just ask me and I'll do my best to answer it. Now, a whole food plant-based diet. I'm going to share with you this principle. If you make your meals look like this, for at least breakfast, for lunch and dinner, you will create super health, okay? But it must be like I'm about to show you. If you do it in any other ratios, you ain't living whole food plant-based, okay? So the first principle of whole food plant-based is you must eat at least 4 big cups, actually it's 200 grams of leafy greens a day. 4 cups. 4 big handfuls. How many, guys? 4 big handfuls. So there's 2 cups right there. At lunchtime, I usually do the salad leafy greens. At dinner time, I have like the steamed leafy greens. I'll use silver beet and spinach and kale and bok choys and all the Asian greens. I'll have them for dinner. So I'm having at least 4 cups a day. Why? They dilate the arteries. They're full of phytonutrients. They actually create super health. They also, because also you want to eat a diverse range of them, not the same ones every day, not an iceberg every day. And I choose to get a mesclun mix because there's lots of different leaves in there. And the more variety we get, the better our gut health is. Plus it's full of fiber, okay? So we want that. Then to that leafy greens, whether they're cooked or raw, you want to add loads of other veggies to it, right? To this one, because it's a salady thing, I'm just going to add some cucumber, half a cucumber. To there, and I'm going to add the other half of the tomato. Sounds good. Spice it up. In that goes. Give it a fluff. So, half your plate, lunch and dinner needs to be, half the plate needs to be leafy greens and other types of veggies. Colour the rainbow, okay? Lots of leafy greens, lots of carrots and celery and cucumber and broccoli and cauliflower. You get the idea.
Is enough?
Half the plate.
Okay.
Then the other half of the plate needs to be starches. There's 3 types of starches. One is grains, so rice and oats and quinoa is sort of a grain, and millet and all the grains, right? There's hundreds of them. The other half needs to have either a grain, potato, and beans or lentils. Grains, potatoes, beans, and lentils. You can have all 3, or ideally just do beans and rice. Okay, beans and rice. A perfect combination. They just go together. So I have half a cup of rice. How much? Half a cup of rice. Bring the beans over. And I have a cup of beans. So a cup of this stuff. Okay. So we got half the plate is leafy greens and veggies. The other half is starches. I always do a bean and rice. And the reason why beans and lentils, super high in protein, they keep you satiated longer. Okay, these are the best source of plant-based protein, is the beans. Then, to that, you want to add a tablespoon or 2 of whole food fats. Okay, so what are the whole food fats? Well, we've got guacamole. Let me get a spoon. So we add a tablespoon guacamole. We don't eat the whole bowl of guacamole or cups of guacamole because it's very calorie dense. It will pile the weight on you. But it's very important to have some whole food fats. So we just do a tablespoon. Then we're going to do a tablespoon of cashew sour cream. tablespoon of cashew sour cream. We've got that. So you've got the whole food fats. Then to that, add your chilies. Like if you love your jalapenos, I'm going to add mine now. If you don't like chili, don't do it. But I love it. I'm going to the jalapenos. But that's authentic there. This isn't authentic. I used to live in Bali, lived there for 3 years, took our kids to green school. And this sambal lek, okay, it's an Indonesian chili. It's just the best. So I pile it on everything. It makes it taste yummy. You guys are probably having a bit of it there. Get a little bit of coriander. And there you go, guys. That there, let me bring it over here. Okay, have a look. That there, that is a whole food plant-based meal. That's what it needs to look like. Okay? If you eat like this every day, 2 meals a day, and don't eat other vegan rubbish in between, you'll create super health. How good is it? You enjoying that? Who likes it? By show of hands. Yeah? Awesome. Everyone loves it. Even the meat eaters love it. I got to have a try as well. So good. And so good. Please give Rebecca a big high five or a big thumbs up and thank her for cooking it for you, or a big shout out. Awesome. Make sure you go check out Rebecca's website. She's, what is it called? Eating
Just
plants?
Eat Plants.
Just Eat Plants. That's what it is. So I eat on a daily basis. Usually for breakfast, I only really eat 2 types of breakfast. In the winter, I eat porridge. Porridge with loads of berries. I use soy milk. Bonsai is my fave. Or you can use, you know, Vita soy or whatever you want, any plant milk you want, except for coconut milk. Don't use coconut oil either. Why? Because it's full of saturated fat. And saturated fat is directly linked to raising the cholesterol in your body. And as your cholesterol in your body goes up, you have more risk of heart disease. There's only 2 plants that are really high in saturated fats, and that's coconut and palm. So you want to avoid coconut oil, coconut milk, coconut desiccated, coconut flakes. You want to minimize it, let them go, see them out the door. But Adam, I love my curries. Well, here's the cool thing. You can make bowls like stir fries, curries with other plant milks. Try it with bonsai, super delicious. I swapped coconut for bonsai. So breakfast is that in winter, loads of berries, and I have a tablespoon of walnuts and a tablespoon of flax seeds and 1 Brazil nut. That's what goes on my porridge with a cup of berries. And the reason why I have those nuts, they're the omega-3s. They're the omega-3s that your body needs. So I have those. And then in summertime, I make banana berry ice cream. So I throw in banana, throw in frozen berries, puree it up in my Fruity blender, scoop it out, and I can literally, it's that thick, I can put it on an ice cream scoop, and I put it in my coconut bowl, and I top it with my granola, which is oil-free, okay? And it's super crunchy and it's delicious. I top it with that, and then I top it with berries. So always berries and oats in one form or another for brekkies. And then for lunch, I usually have a bowl with salad and beans or lentils or rice or potatoes, but I always have a salad like that. And then for dinner, I have curries, I have stir fries, you know, I make luxes, I make, you know, anything I can make, butter chicken without the chicken, but whole food plant-based. And most of my meals I make in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And then for snacks, I eat fruit, a couple of pieces of fruit a day. You might go, Adam, I can never do that. Well, I couldn't either. I was obese, okay? This was my day, typically, before I became obese, or on the way to obese. I had a very busy job. I was always on the road. When you're busy, you just grab. I just pull into a servo and you go to the service station, and you go to pay, and what's right in front of the counter when you pay? Chockies. So mine were picnics. I grabbed 2 bars of picnics. Over here on the rack, what's right there? Chippies. So I grabbed a packet of chippies. And then over in the drink fridge, there was 2 things I used to drink. Oh, that bottle of Coke looked good. Or I'd grab those flavoured moves, and I have a flavoured move. And I have that sort of thing at least once a day. Then for lunch, I'd pull in and I'd probably get a salad wrap or something healthy, or I go to a bakery and I get a vegetarian pasty or a vegan pasty or a vegan pie. I knock that down with another iced coffee move. And then I'd be exhausted. I get home like at sometimes 9 o'clock at night. Everyone's in bed. So I just order pizza, a big family-sized pizza. And I'd have that. And then what do you do after dinner when you feel really low because you just pigged out on a whole pizza? You either grab Chockies, or for me, I grab a tub of ice cream. And I've been known to eat a whole tub of ice cream in one sitting. Okay? So don't get me wrong. I was vegetarian. I ate plenty of veggies, but I ate my fair share of dairy. Then when I had the heart attack, I switched it to a whole food plant-based diet. And here's the interesting thing. This is how powerful it is. It will work really well if you eat it properly. If you half eat it, it won't work really well for you if you're sick. Who's got like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, any of those high cholesterol, any of that, any in the family? If you have, you're in a good place, because this here has been shown time and time and time again. I've been teaching people how to eat this way properly now for 4 years. And every person that eats it correctly, their doctors end up taking off meds for type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure. And they lose weight. They go from obese into healthy BMI, or overweight into healthy BMI. So, guys, if you're super fit, will this work for you? Take it to the next level? Absolutely. Okay. I did an Ironman triathlon eating this way. Lots of athletes go this way. So if you want to improve your performance, you'll want to go whole food plant-based, because it'll take everything to a whole new level. So guys, basically that's what a whole food plant-based diet looks like on a daily basis for me. So if you've got any questions about whole food plant-based eating and living, throw them at me and I'll answer them for you, or cooking, anything to do with cooking, I'll answer it for you. Let me know.
Hi, I've got 2.
Yeah.
The first one, you used a blender when you were doing the, can I, because I don't use blenders, is there anything I can use to still do cashews?
You can use a mortar and pestle, but it will take you a long time.
I've got a pestle, so I can do it, yeah. And the other thing,
Yeah, but it'll take you forever. If you want to grind it for half an hour, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is tomatoes. Can I use something instead of tomatoes? Because they're very chemical now.
Buy organic then. I mean, you can leave tomatoes out. You don't have to have it. Just have beans. You don't have to eat. If there's any plants that you don't like, you just leave it out of your food.
What would be a good choice instead of tomatoes?
Well, there isn't. Tomatoes are tomatoes, so just leave it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would say maybe put a little bit of lime juice on a dish. Do you agree, Adam? If you need that acidity from a tomato, maybe a bit of lime juice or something.
Yeah. You could. I wouldn't put lime in those beans. I would just leave it out of those beans. But yeah. I always put on my salad avocado, lemon juice or lime juice, and salt and pepper is my dressing. Or I put some balsamic vinegar on there. But you know, here's the thing: people go, "Oh, I can't eat this, can't eat that." Well, just leave those ones out, okay? But you don't want to. But here's the thing: when you first start eating this way, this will make you fart like crazy. And if you have IBS or any gut issues, you want to start out eating beans, very small amounts, tablespoons at a time. And you build it up over weeks. And then what happens, your gut microbiome changes to like it. The reason why you your gut can't handle it now, because it's too used to eating processed foods and meat and dairy. That gut microbiome loves those things. When you change, all this stuff happens. But then all of a sudden, people with IBS, we've had women with 30 years of IBS, couldn't get rid of it. went whole food plant-based, introduced it slowly, the beans. Now they can eat bucket loads of them. Same with bread, same with everything. So any other questions? Great question, thank you.
This one down here.
Any others?
Hi. Where does tofu sit in a whole foods plant-based diet?
Okay, good question. So it's processed. What tofu is soy cheese. So what they do, they take the bean, which is edamame. Have you ever been to a Japanese restaurant? You've had the bean, that green bean, and you open the pod and eat it? That's soy. That's in its rawest, purest form. So they take that, they dry it, they turn it into soy milk. Then they take the soy milk and they make a ricotta, exactly how you make dairy ricotta. They add an acidity to it, like lemon juice or vinegar or some sort of acid to it, and it curds, separates the curds and whey. You get rid of the whey and you keep the curd and you push it, and that's why it's called bean curd. Okay, it's just ricotta. Now, on a whole food plant-based diet, it's minimally processed, so we eat it, I eat it. But if you want to go the whole food version of it, and that's my favorite, is tempeh. You can do tempeh so many ways. Tempeh on its own. I lived in Indonesia. They make the best tempeh. A good tempeh should look like this. It should look like white. It should be white. Look like brie cheese. Okay? It's not like that in the supermarkets. But in Byron Bay, where I used to live, they have two companies up there, Byron Bay Tempeh and Gwen Tempeh. Look them up. They might send them to you, but they've got the real deal. Or just buy in the supermarkets. I throw them in curries. I mince it up into mince. If I want to make a mince dish, like a bolognese or a lasagna or something, I'll use tempeh. It's incredible mince, very meaty. Meat eaters love it, but it's whole food. It's just a soybean fermented into a cake. The whole soybean. So tempeh is the whole food version of tofu. Tofu is the next layer down. Good question. Hope that answers it.
While we're on the subject of tempeh, how do you cook it without oil? How do you get nice fried tempeh without using oil?
Okay, you won't be able to make tempeh manis, or you can. I figured it out. See this thing?
Just bake it?
Yeah.
Bake it. Cut it. If you've ever had tempeh manis in sweet tempeh in Bali, find a good traditional recipe. Instead of frying it, stick it in there and really fine, let it go super crispy, and you'll get good tempeh manis.
Bit of soy sauce? Or
yeah, well, the tempeh manis has tomato, the shallot, and some garlic, chili, tomato, and a bit of sweet soy sauce. That's tempeh manis. And sugar, but I use some coconut sugar or date sugar.
Hi, Adam. Quick one.
Hi.
With respect to your Ironman, how you've got your swim, your bike, your run. What was the hardest for you, and what tips did you find to get better at that aspect of the, of the Ironman?
Great question. I tell you what, it took me 2 damn years to get that. I was trained. Actually, it's an interesting story how it all came about. I'll share it with you. After the heart attack, a couple of years later, I was starting to get a bit fitter. I was walking a lot, and then I got this app, Couch to 5Ks, and then I could end up running 5Ks. And then my wife asked me, what do you want for Christmas this year? This is about 2 or 3 years after I had the heart attack. And I said, I want a bike. So we went and bought a road bike. I started riding on a Saturday morning with the local bike shop. And we'd have a coffee at the end of the day, end of the ride. And I was sitting next to this guy, and he said, Adam, a few of us are training for an Ironman. We've done, a few of us have done, Kona, and we're going for a swim on Monday morning. You want to come and join us? I said, yeah, I'll come. So I went swimming with him. And this guy's driving me back to Berry, where I lived. And I told him that I'd had a heart attack and got off all medications. And he went, really? That's impossible. You can't get off meds. And then I got this vibe, and I went from him, like he was really adamant about this. I went, why are you asking me that? Like, this is real. It's happened to me. Are you a doctor or something? He goes, yeah, I'm a doctor. I'm a GP, and I've been treating patients for 30 years, and it's impossible to reverse heart disease. I went, well, you're looking at one. And he went, is that true? I said, yeah, I can prove it to you. I can show you all the stuff. And he said, wow. And I went dead quiet. And his mind's ticking, ticking over. I can hear it. And then he turns to me and goes, Adam, I've had this amazing idea. It'd be super cool to take you from MI, myocardial infarction, which is heart attack in doctor speak, to IM, Ironman. I went, I don't think so. That's for you blokes, you know. And then he said, Adam, seriously, I've done 5 Ironman. I'm a doctor. I can train you to do it. I went, and then a light bulb went off. I'm never going to get this opportunity again. So I'm going, I'm in. So we did. And we trained and we trained and we trained. 2 years it took to get fit enough. So what was the hardest? The hardest thing the thing that we focused on was the ride, because the ride's the longest. It's 180 Ks ride. So if you don't know what an Ironman is, it's a 3.8 K swim, 180 K bike ride, and then a marathon, a 42 K run. You have 17 hours to do it. Okay? So we rode for hours and the training sessions built up to 6-hour rides. It was hard. The hardest thing to get right was nutrition. Interesting, because, you know, you're burning so many calories and all this sort of stuff. I didn't focus on it. I just did it. Anyway, we got to the race day. I go for a swim. I'm a pretty solid swimmer. That was my sport when I was young. I got out of the water in an hour and 5 minutes, I think it was, which is, I'm right at the front of the pack up there. Get out, I get on the bike and I ride from Cairns up to Port Douglas and back. I'm up and I'm riding up the road and I do the ride in 6.5 hours. So I averaged 30 Ks an hour, which is pretty solid. That's good. I was feeling good. Got off the bike and I started to run. And about 500 meters into the run, I got these massive stomach cramps, super bad. I went to the Portaloo, nothing was coming out, and I'm in so much pain. And then I'm in there for about half an hour. I get out and I said, I have to quit. I got to get, like, I can't finish this. I'm in so much pain. I'm looking for the medicos. And then a mate of mine who sold me the bike, he did the half Ironman. He's on the sideline cheering us on. He goes, Adam, what's up? I said, mate, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm out. I have to quit. And he said, okay, well, I'll get someone for you. But before I do, just take a seat for a sec. And I want you to think about this. It's taken us 2 years to get you here. 2 years to get you fit enough to do this thing. You only have 42 Ks to go. So sit down and just chill out and it'll come good. And I said, I don't care, Paul. I'm like, just get me out of here. He said, no, Adam, seriously. You can, let me just do some calculations. He did some calculations. He said, Adam, you can walk the 42 Ks and you'll come in under 17 hours and you'll be an Ironman. And he switched my mind like that. Biggest lesson I've ever learned in my life. You can't do anything on your own. You need support around you. Even eating this way, learning how to do it. You need support. And with him, he was able to switch my mind when I was about to quit. And I would have quit. I was about to walk off. And I won't be talking to you today. And he said, sit down. I sat down for another 20 minutes and it came good. And off I went running. And I finished the Ironman in 14 hours and 13 minutes exactly. The hardest part was that damn run. Okay, to answer your question. It was so damn hard. You know, at the end of that, the last 8 Ks, I proudly walked.
Yes.
My legs were aching. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
No worries. Anyone else? Yes?
I know you don't like coconut products, but can you use them for oil pooling in the morning in the shower, or it's still absorbed?
Yeah, from Ayurveda, an Ayurvedic point of view.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to go into your body. Look, here's the thing. I believe in choice. I think everybody has a human right to choose. What I share with people are what are the principles that work with a whole food plant-based diet. Now, I don't put any coconut product in there. So, and I don't put any oils in there. But I understand Ayurveda. I understand the principles of Ayurveda. I'm not a practitioner, but I understand it at a lifestyle level where I can apply it to my life for good balance. And I don't need to pull, and I don't need to do that. The thing that will really change people's lives, you just eat bowls like this every day. And then you won't have to pull to get toxins and stuff out because you won't be toxic. Okay? This stuff heals and makes you well. And you'll be blown away at the energy that you have. And then you don't have to do any of that stuff because you're well all the time. Now, caveat, you know, it doesn't mean you're healthy all the time. Everyone's going to get sick from every now and then. But the majority of the time, you're going to feel amazing. I've never felt so good. I'm 51 years old now. And I'll tell you what, this is what I look like before the heart attack. I'll just show you. Hold on one sec. Here you go. That's me before the heart attack. Can you see that? 110 kilos. Is that a difference or what?
You look older in that picture, Adam.
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This reverses the aging process. You see it in everybody that eats it. Reason being, every single year, just about every cell in your body gets replaced. The cells that you have now will not be the cells in 12 months. Here's the thing. There's certain foods that your cells don't like, and they just keep making you sicker because the quality of your health is the quality of your cells. So what you feed those cells determines how they reproduce in the future. So if you give your cells the stuff they love, bowls like this, okay, they reproduce into this amazing new body. But if you keep eating the same food that is making you sick now, or not giving you energy now, or making you overweight now, you will just become more overweight, more sick, and less energy. You got to change. You cannot expect to get a new life, new energy, eating the current way. Now, here's the beautiful thing about a whole food plant-based diet. It's a vegan diet, but whole food. When I switched to whole food plant-based, I started to discover how beautiful this lifestyle is. Because not only does it not hurt the body, it doesn't harm any other living thing on the planet. It doesn't hurt the environment, it doesn't hurt the animals, and it doesn't hurt our body. It is actually love. It is one of the most loving self-care things that you can do to your body and the environment and to all living things, is to eat a whole food, plant-based, vegan diet.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Adam. Really
My
appreciated
pleasure.
your time today and over the weekend. Thank you, Rebecca, for all your help.
No problems.
It was beautiful. The food was great. Thank you to our lovely audience for coming to it. And this is a wrap. That's it. We're done.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Before you go, guys, think of one thing that you picked up today that you could add to what you're already doing to take your health and energy to the next level and apply it. And if you want to learn more how to do this, just go to my website, do my free course, and you'll get an understanding what it's about.
And
ifeelgood.com.au.
we also have a community here in Adelaide called Plant Powered Adelaide. So we're a Facebook group. We get together and we go to restaurants and we have picnics and stuff. We've got one coming up in November. So it's all whole food, plant-based, no oil. And we often have somebody presenting, a dietitian or a GP or somebody talking about the benefits. So yeah, come along to that too.
Make sure you go to that too, because the people you hang around,
it's a
who you
community.
become.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Good
everyone.
stuff. Thanks, Rebecca.
No worries. See ya.
Cheers. See ya. Bye.
If everyone can just take their food cups in, put them in the green bins, we'd appreciate that. And everyone drive safe. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.